Previously, since the Edo period, Japanese merchants have been making business deals not via contracts, but by Kengan matches, a bloody fight between hired combatants. In this harsh world, an ordinary middle-aged man, Kazuo Yamashita, has to join hands with the fighter, Ohma Tokita dubbed the Ashura, and is forced into entering a tournament to decide the next chairman of the Kengan Association. The two are sponsored by Hideki Nogi, a member of the Nogi group who's looking to be the chairman of the council by winning the life or death tournament. But he isn't the only one. Several others share the same goal. All the while, Ohma is looking to face the apprentice of his master's killer. The eve of the tournament is here as several strong fighters gather and travel to the island where the brackets will be decided. On the ship, many fighters are being forced to drop out by fighters under the orders of Hayami Katsumasa, but not all the individuals are too weak to give up. Elsewhere on the boat, Ohma and Lihito are getting scolded by Nogi's assistant, Akiyama. She's furious that Ohma was allowing all these girls to approach him despite him having no say in it. But suddenly, they are attacked by a hooded individual. Although Ohma is able to easily evade the swift attacks, he can't land any of his own. Suddenly he stops, as he realizes the individual is a girl, who reveals herself to be Kure Carla, and without hesitation demands to have Ohma's babies. She explains she desperately wants to create the strongest offspring known to man, and knew Ohma was strong at first sight. Caught completely off guard, and realizing she's clearly quite young, the situation turns out to be too much for him as he blitzes off. Disappointed, she returns to her grandfather, the head of the demonic Kure family, and tells him that she has a crush on Ohma. Safe to say the grandfather was not very pleased at all. The night concludes, and by dawn, the ship arrives at the destination. The merchants are taken into a room to decide the pairings, and Yamashita feels awkward standing among such big icons of the business world. On top of that, he learns from Kuriyoshi Rino that if he loses in the tournament, he'll be left 5 billion in debt. The chairman, Katahara Matsudo, brings out a slot machine, which creates a 9-digit number by hitting the stop button. The person with the biggest number will get to decide his spot first in the tournament. Yamashita notices. Occasionally the first number slows down slightly, and uses this to get the highest number. He places Ohma in 8th place of Block A, furthest from the reigning champion, the Fawn of Matsudo. By the end of the night, the brackets are decided, and fighters get ready for a bloody conflict. It's the day of the tournament. The arena is filled with enthusiastic fans. But not only that, Yamashita notices that even world leaders such as Trump and Obama are here to spectate. The first round commences. 2 fighters enter the arena. On the left, we have the American street fighter, Adam Dudley the Emperor, representing Boss Burger. On the right, we have the young prodigy, Imai Cosmo the King of Stranglers, representing the young businessman, Nishihanji Akira. As a child, Cosmo was getting into fights in the streets until a martial artist recognized his talents and offered to train him. But the boy surpassed all his expectations, and at the age of 14, he fought in his Kengan debut. He's still yet to lose a match. The fight starts with the young prodigy throwing several punches at his opponent, who blocks them without breaking a sweat. Seeing how his punches aren't effective, Cosmo manages to ground him using a scissor throw. He has Adam where he wants him, but the big fighter manages to throw a punch that barely grazes Cosmo, yet somehow makes him retreat in pain. The audience is amazed by Adam's power. It's explained that this power comes from his extraordinarily large back muscles, which allowed him to knock out entire teams of players during ice hockey matches. Adam capitalizes on this opportunity and smashes Cosmo on the ground several times, making his face bleed badly. But the prodigy doesn't give up. He gets back up and takes a low stance. To counter that, the big fighter changes his stance too. The two prepare for the final clash. Cosmo activates Zone and Adam uses high stick shot. The latter manages to land a powerful blow on the prodigy and continues to smash his face. But he becomes confused as the referee stops him. Suddenly, he realizes that he's hallucinating and sees in third person that he's unconscious in a triangle choke. He was dreaming the whole time. Cosmo is declared the winner, and the first round ends. Now the second round begins. Once again, 2 fighters enter the arena. On the left, we have the corrupted boy from the Himalayas, Kono Haruo the Destroyer, who represents Nintendo. On the right, we have the inspector with an extreme sense of justice, Akoya Seishu the executioner, who represents Wakasa Life Insurance. The former was an extraordinary child living in the Himalayas, but after he was recruited and brought to Japan, he gave into the pleasures of modern life and became extremely overweight. Meanwhile, the latter is a ruthless vigilante with his own obscure sense of justice, and he will kill any criminal who he considers evil. The match kicks off as Haruo, despite his appearance, swiftly sends out several strikes, but the officer manages to dodge them with ease and attacks his knees, living up to his reputation of having the highest quality defense among all the contestants. However, it's learned that Okoye isn't exactly fighting fair. His chairman, Hayama, has an incredible internal clock that allows her to analyze her opponents. She's predicting what Okoye's opponent will do by analyzing their breathing patterns and relaying commands to Okoye, meaning Okoye simply has to follow her instructions without thinking about what his opponent is doing. A massive and illegal advantage. After getting threatened by his employer that he'd be sent back to the mountains if he loses, the oversized man tries to attack Okoye, but fails as the vigilante lands a massive knee to his face, rendering him unconscious. Okoye is the winner. Just before the referee could call the fight, Haruo grabs his arm and stands up unconsciously. The warrior in Haruo is still alive, and it refuses to give up. He then launches a powerful attack that catches his opponent by surprise. The god living inside Haruo is rejecting the poisons modern life have given him, and the warrior spirit, Haru, has returned. Hayama tries to reanalyze the situation, but Okoye rejects her, claiming they don't have enough time. On the ground, and being dominated, Okoye is forced to revert to his killer instinct and focuses his eyes on Haruo's windpipe. To everyone's surprise, Haruo's knee, which has been under tremendous pressure not only due to Okoye's repeated strikes, but also in day-to-day life, finally reached its breaking point. Okoye finishes Haruo, and the fight concludes. In a strange turn of events, Hayama runs to meet Okoye as he's leaving the arena, apologizing for her incompetence. Okoye tolerates none of it, and tells her he'll be fighting the next match alone after smacking her. This devastates Hayama, who desperately begs Okoye not to leave her. Okoye wipes some blood off her face, and tells her this will be her final mistake before licking the blood off his thumb. Hayama is told she will be punished later, which for whatever strange reason, makes her very happy. The third round starts, and the two fighters enter the arena. On the left, we have the calm priest, Mokichi Robinson the exterminating vicar, who represents Centauri. On the right, we have the vile member of the demonic Kure family, Kure Reian, the taboo descendant, who represents under Mount Ink, Yamashita's son's company. The former is a descendant of the legendary fighter Kotura Shigenosuke. Thus, he was forced to practice Baritsu from a very young age, which made him abandon his family. Although, the person who changed his rotten self and turned him into a priest was his half-sister. The latter is a member of the demonic Kure family who have been taking in several martial arts for 1,500 years. The match kicks off. The impatient Kure attacks the priest head-on, but Robinson catches both his punch and kick without putting in any effort. Ryan tries to play dirty by splashing blood into his opponent's eye, but petty tricks aren't enough to defeat Robinson. The priest punches his opponent several times and throws him onto the ground. Just as the match appears to be concluded, Ryan gets up. To everyone's surprise, the man who should be down starts using the Kure's secret technique, removal, an ability to consciously remove the brain's limits on an individual's muscular strength output, and Ryan is able to use 100% of his muscles. This infuriates his spectating family members, as this is a secret technique of their blood which has now been revealed to a massive audience. He immediately rushes Robinson, punching him before he can even react. With no way out, Robinson is down as his little sister urges him to give it his all, crying. But Ryan grabs him by the neck and chokes him, not stopping until his neck is broken. The crowd spectate in silence as they see the first casualty of the tournament. A dead Robinson lies on the floor, and Ryan is declared the winner. The fourth round finally starts, and the two fighters enter the arena. On the left, we have the oddball, Inaba Ryo the Black Phantom, who represents Penonic. On the right, we finally get to see our boy, Tokita Ohma. Before the match started, Yamashita, unbeknownst to himself, ended up betting 10% of Penonic with the president of the company. The bell is rung. The two exchange some decent blows, but Inaba begins using his special footwork to encircle his opponent. Ohma tries to hit him, but only catches his afterimages and gets scraped by him. Ohma uses his Nico style to counter the footwork and sends Inaba flying. He tries to finish him off with a kick, but strangely his leg is caught by his opponent's hair. The Penonic representative is confident in his hair's strength and continues to whip Ohma with it. He swings him around the arena and eventually covers his eyes with the hair to make him lose his vision. Seeing his strength and determination, Ohma now considers him a worthy opponent and again has to resort to using the advance, again, immediately tearing the hairs his opponent was so proud of. Then, he rushes the surprised man and punches him again and again until his face cracks and jaw is dislocated. The referee declares Ohma the winner, but there's a smile on Inaba's face having faced such a powerful foe. He truly loved fighting. The Penonic chief offers Yamashita his 10% share in Penonic, but Ohma is there to ruin his dreams as he rejects the offer. And we all know Yamashita can't decline Ohma. Ohma does, however, appreciate that he didn't take the money because he fights for much more than that. Elsewhere, a doctor, Hanafusa Hajime, finishes his surgery on Robinson, and he's somehow still alive. Meanwhile in the arena, the 5th round starts. Though, it is quickly concluded as the longest-serving active affiliated Kengan fighter with the highest win record, Wakatsuki Takashi the Wild Tiger, defeats his opponent in a single punch. And the 6th round between Sawada Kizaburo, the Bird of Darkness, and Julius Reinhold, the Monster, ends abruptly as well. That is due to Sawada's employer getting threatened by their opponent's men who work for Hayami Katsumasa. Sawada challenges the men who have threatened their employer, but they quickly realize reality, as Julius, his opponent, defeats him with ease and breaks his leg. They even try to break the second one, but Yamashita walks in and the mood is ruined, although that saves Sawada's life as the rest retreat. The 7th round soon starts. On the left, we have the legendary mercenary, Mutiba Gizenga the Genocider. On the right, we have another one of Hayami's pawn, Meguro Masaki the Crying Man. As soon as the match starts, Meguro pushes his opponent onto the ground, who tries to escape, but has to resort to gouging out one of the monster's eyes. In counter, Mutiba has both of his gouged out too, but fortunately for him, he's been blind from the start, which kinda makes you wonder why he was watching the TV earlier. It's revealed that Meguro is a beast who thinks of pain as pleasure. Since that's the case, I don't even want to know what he felt next when Matuba grabbed and crushed his manhood. Thus, the bloody brawl continues. Eventually, this hideous fight is concluded in a truly disgusting fashion. Mutiba not only breaks the neck of Masaki, but then proceeds to shove his fingers through the open eye socket and into his opponent's brains. Mutiba is announced the winner, living up to his vile, infamous reputation. Reminiscing on his master's last words, Tokita announces that he's once again going to bed due to exhaustion. Hanafusa, looking at some medical reports, reveals that Ohma doesn't have much time left. His technique, the advance, is quickly killing him. That wraps up Season 1. Be sure to subscribe since Season 2 is right around the corner. Next recap, we finally get to see the Fang of Metsudo in action, and we head to the 2nd round of the tournament. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time.